USC legend, Grey Cup champion, NFL quarterback, and BattleBots host. Here's Sean Salisbury.
Here we go. Love this time of week. Love talking to Sean, and we got a lot to talk to him about this morning. Fresh off his highly successful, award-winning morning show in Houston. He gets done with his radio show and then proceeds to do everyone else's radio show. We're just lucky to have him do ours as well. The hardest working man in show business. Good morning, Sean.
How you doing, man? Good to talk to you guys.
Good to talk to you. We got a lot to throw at you today. We're going to get into football heavy, but I got to ask you from this point of view, baseball, Dusty Baker being offered a 1-year deal, the GM gone, and I believe he was offered a 1-year deal. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
What am I missing? What is going on here?
Not missing anything. I think with the Dusty situation, I think Dusty's known all along it's going to be year by year. Why not? He's in 73. He's a World Series champ. Jim Crane loves him. And I don't think that's a big deal because Dusty realized this stage of his career. It may be Dusty that wants to walk before Jim Crane wants to let him walk. So what's the big deal? I mean, you sign a 1-year contract, you come back, and I don't think it's disrespectful for Dusty at all. I think that's kind of been their kind of go-to thing, and Dusty will manage as long as they're winning, and he's having a blast. And we love him here, and you know my affinity for him. I think it's awesome. As far as James Click goes, there's been talk throughout their entire the contract that James Click's been here, that at least the speculation is that Jim Crane and James Click have been on at times different. Click's done a good job. He was our guest. I mean, every single Wednesday, James Click was on our show talking about it. He's always been pretty damn transparent as a general manager can be. And I think Jim Crane believes, and it's worked, 4 World Series in 6 years, 6 straight ALCSs and winning 2 World Series, that right now, whether people like it or not, that if I don't see eye to eye with the guy, I was going to give him another opportunity to come back to winning franchise, and he decided he didn't want to take that, and he moved on. I think that Jim Crane believes that this is going to go on regardless. Whether people on the outside think, man, that's kind of cold. Jim Crane's a very good, shrewd businessman. So, and he's beloved in this town. He's not camera crazy or radio crazy. He's being in the limelight. He just does his gig, and they win. So while people may say, well, isn't that disrespectful? Yeah, but like in any business, even if you're winning and you don't have the exact flow you may want, like the speculation says, they both moved on. James Click's really going to do well, and Jim Crane will hire the right guy. The truth of the matter is you should be standing in line to be the GM for the Astros because you're going to get an opportunity to build your resume because they will win, and they will be the American League favorite next year going into the season.
Talking with Sean Salisbury, and all guests coming to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Sean, if we transition to football, Dave and I were talking earlier about the Raiders and their struggles, but Mark Davis came out yesterday and said that Josh McDaniels is doing a great job. Help us understand that phrasing. We see wins and losses. I don't see a great job being done there. Maybe something internally. What do you see with the Raiders right now?
Well, he's trying to validate the hire, is Mark Davis, and you got to consider the source. They beat to a different drum, does Mark Davis, and I don't think it takes a football genius to say he's not doing a great job. I mean, that he's doing a great job, to see that he's not. I mean, I don't know what goes on in their meetings in the building, but there's a disconnect somewhere, whether it's commitment, whether it's the leadership part that is missing. I believe the number one trait you have to be a successful businessman or CEO, or in this case, head coach, is you got to understand how to lead people and get buy-in in the building. And they sure seem disconnected on Sundays. So if he's doing a great job, that must mean that he doesn't think Carr and the players are doing a great job. So one of them's going to be out at the end of the year. I don't know if you're going to see this marriage continue, meaning Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr, as emotional as he is and as much as he loves, but they have to turn it around because, as you guys know, he may be saying he's a great job 8-9 games in, doing a great job. But if this continues at the end of the season, he's not going to be able to fool anybody and say he's doing a great job. When you sign a guy to a contract and 9 games in, people are questioning if he should be the head coach. He's got to validate it some way. Let's have this conversation in January and see if Mark Davis feels the same way. And if he does, that'll mean they've won some games, because it's not hard to see that the Raiders that they're going in all different directions, like where's Waldo?
I'm very curious, Sean. When Jeff Saturday was hired, I honestly thought of you immediately. I thought of you because no offense to Jeff, but your resume as a coach is better than his. You just simply have worked with players longer and have coached more than he has. Not that he's an amateur or anything like that. I'm just saying yours is better.
Right.
Facts. That being said, I am curious. Forget how you feel about Jeff Saturday. Take that completely out of the equation. Are you rooting for him to succeed because it may pave the way for more coaches like in the NBA to hop in without experience, and you like that? Or would you be more rooting for the failure to teach the lesson that you need to go through the ranks in order to become a head coach? And I'm not trying to pigeonhole you, but I think you get where I'm going.
No, and it's okay. I'll tell you an honest answer. I think it's both, Dave, and I thought about this. I have, and you know my affinity for coaching and kids and teaching, but you also know my affinity. I love going. To me, he's a great leader. He appears to fulfill that leadership that you need that I said about Josh McDaniels, which seems to have been missing at some point in his career as a head coach. But Saturday, unconventional. I get why the broadcast world thinks it's a slap in the face. I mean, the coaching world thinks it's a slap in the face when guys have grinded for year after year to get the job. But we've seen the movie before. It happens, like you mentioned, in the NBA, and it's about relationships. We talk about insiders, everybody having a relationship, yet when an owner has a relationship that we may say, well, you can't do this. Football's brain surgery. You can't just hire a guy who's played for 15 years. Listen, I know as much X's and O's as the quarterback coach in Pittsburgh, or as much as the offense. I do. Whether I can coach it or teach it like him, who the hell knows, because I'm not doing it. On an individual basis, I can. But on a team, I don't know. But I know football. Jeff Saturday knows football. It's all the other stuff that comes into being a head coach you got to take into account. Can you win the building over? Do you get buy-in? Do you lead? Can you delegate authority to people that have been there longer and are smarter than you at how to organize the game plan and all those things, which for 1 week it appears Jeff Saturday did a better job than a guy who's on his second head coaching stint. And when I hear people like Bill Cowher, who I love, I would have loved to play for Bill Cowher. When I hear them say, well, guys like John Fox and Gus Bradley in the room, John Fox and Gus Bradley have had their chance. And at times it's worked and at times it hasn't. So why can't we be unconventional? Why can't you hire Steve Kerr from a broadcast booth? Why can't you hire somebody else? Deion Sanders to coach and turn a program around. I don't get, if you know it and you can lead men and get the most out of them, why is it a problem? It is unconventional. I get the slap in the face. But didn't Bill Cowher get his job the same way? He's a great coach and a Super Bowl champion, and he walked into a $1 million broadcast network job without 1 ounce of experience.
Yeah. And
he learned the mechanics and learned to be good at it, and Bill's good. So I know coaching, well, there's more that goes into it. Is there? I take it serious. I've been to both. I've coached and I've been a broadcaster on TV. I know the preparation that goes into both if you want to be good at it, not some hack that people laugh at that's a hot take guy. So Bill's mad at the same things. So is it a slap in the face to me that Bill Cowher's sitting in my seat or somebody else's because he got the job because he's a Super Bowl winner and somebody else isn't? Bill Cowher didn't go to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to train for the job that somebody else did. He's got an expertise that somebody believed he could get better at and be good at, and he is. And he was a great coach. Who's to say that Jeff Saturday isn't going to turn this into? So to answer your question, yeah, I do want Jeff Saturday to be successful. So it's like we don't have to go the old boys network where you got to hire the same dude and the same white dudes all the time to do it, even though they did that in the case of Saturday. But that you don't have to have gone through 30 years of coaching to prove you know how to teach people and lead. But the other side, I don't want the failure. I don't root for people to fail. I don't root for people to fail. I root for them to win. And all it will do is also help those guys in the building to get a better understanding. Okay, what am I going to do to enhance my resume to try and get the chance? Yes, it was odd. Yes, it was weird the way it was hired. But what if it works? Then what? So I root for success for everybody. I don't root for Jeff to fail, and I don't root for the guys in the building to be down because they didn't get the job. I hope people get their opportunity. It was just weird the way it went, but if you're the owner, you have that luxury. You can hire who you want.
He's the best in the business. That's why. That's after a 4-hour morning show.
Yeah,
guys.
he was roaring today.
Sean, you are the best. Thank you so much, my man. Good luck to your Raiders. We're pulling for you.
Yeah, well, I'm going to apply for that coaching job. I guess if they're going to give it to anybody.
Wouldn't do any
I
worse.
appreciate it, man. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Take care. That's Sean Salisbury. You know, there's